Hello agents and welcome back to another Division video. Today I'm going to go over my LMG PvP build. It's a bit of a hybrid. It actually includes quite a lot of skill damage as well, which you can see from the amount of skill power that I've got here. But I'll run over it. We'll start with the specialization. So just to show you, I'm using the technician. Here is the tree. Just a couple of things to point out in here. I've gone with the overclocked CPU talent because that gives 10% skill damage. We don't really need the healing. I've gone all out damage in this build. You could use the healing one if you really wanted to, but the 10% wouldn't make much of a difference. Party members within 5 meters of your deployed and undisrupted skills are immune to shock, which is pretty nice if you're running in the DZ. 50% pulse resistance, this one's very important. And equipping a skill grants 15% bonus armor, and when the skill dies you recover 20%. Again, really important because we've got to run a seeker. Up here at the top we've got a passive talent. We've got 50% extra skill power, and this is the only way we're going to be able to put the best mods in our skills. Then we've got this one here, which is 20% damage to drones, skill proxies and robotics, which is great because everybody's running some kind of skill proxy. Here we've got armor kits also apply to friendly skill proxies within 10 meters, and if 2 or 3 or 4 of you run this in the DZ or in conflict, you're pretty much going to be unbeatable, I would think. Over on the other side here, we've just got the normal things all filled up, so just fill these up. These are just standard stuff that you're going to want to fill up anyway for your specialization, damage and things like that. Not that we're going to be using it. And then obviously the weapons that we're going to be using. So we need to go here because we need this laser pointer so that we can apply pulse to our targets for extra damage. We're not actually going to be running the pulse skill. So very important that your gun has this laser pointer on. Gives us the 15% rifle damage here, but we're not actually using a rifle. We're actually using an LMG. So make sure LMG is filled out to the max. And then my secondary weapon is actually a shotgun. And not for the reasons you're probably thinking right now. I'll show you that next. So here is the build itself. As you can see, we're really tanky. I've got a good chunk of health, good chunk of armor, and a good chunk for both of our skill powers. We've got nearly 3,000 on both, or just over on the hive. I am running a Black Market M60 E6 LMG. This is one of my favourites. We are running unhinged for the extra weapon damage, and I'm running extra and protected reload. Really, if you're going to be reloading with this build, you're probably going to die in PvP. So the protected reload is pretty pointless, to be honest. Ideally, I do want this with unhinged and then Allegro instead, but right now this is the best I can come up with a high powered, this is almost max power damage, this LMG. Secondly, we're running the Sweet Dreams, and the reason we're running the Sweet Dreams is for the rolling talent. So when we roll, we get 25% of our current weapons magazine back, this talent here. Because basically in PvP we've not got time to be reloading. We need to just, roll, keep alive, and then fire some more bullets off. And obviously, as you can see here, the mag's 120, so that is a lot of bullets. Just to run through our mods as well, just so you can see. The first one I'm going with some accuracy, and then I'm gone with some rate of fire here. This one's missing for some reason. I'm not sure why, but that should be the linked laser pointer like I talked about before, so that we can get our pulse. And then 10% accuracy there. Go with what you want here. The only one I would say would be really important was get that rate of fire on. That, obviously with Allegro, is a substantial amount of fire rate for an LMG. To keep up obviously with the ARs and the SMGs that are running around as well. Third piece is actually I've got a double barrel sawn off. This was actually available right now in the DZ vendor, and the reason I went for this is I needed a sidearm with rooted. So while equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25%. So what you got to think about there, guys, is the skills that we're using. That's a really good buff. It can only occur once every 60 seconds, but still, your initial contact with a player, this is going to be running up and running and ready to go. Now we're going to run to the gear. So first of all, I'm going to start with my mask. I've got 20k health near enough, 18.7, and then some skill power, as much skill power as you can get here. Next is where I'm getting all my survivability from. So I'm actually using 5-piece healer guard, which is obviously way over the top because I get the 3-piece bonus. But the pieces just fit so well to achieve what I need to achieve. So here's the chest piece. I was one of the lucky ones. I've got 30% total armor modified onto it. It came with 22k armor and it has 21k health. You could run maybe some damage here if you really wanted to. The reason I didn't is because there's so many bleed builds and things running around now. I needed that extra health for that extra survivability. The main talent we're going to run with is Bloodsucker. Depleting an enemy's armor adds a stack of 25% bonus armor for 10 seconds. But what we will do is, I'm sure down here we can show it as PvP stats, which is what we're concerned about. And the max stack is actually 2 when it comes to PvP. And it's 15% bonus armor for 5 seconds. We'll keep the PvP stats on. Then below, all you need to do is adjust the utility mod and the defensive mods to get more armor and more armor percentage. Utility mods, I'll leave that up to you. Essentially what you need to do is get to 3000 skill power so you can use the best mods in your skills. Moving on to the holster. So this is the healer guard holster is great. We can have a high chunk of health and a high chunk of skill power. And then it provides us with 2 offensive mod slots, which I've got 5% LMG damage in both. Really, really good for what we need. Backpack as well, this rolls almost perfect for me as well. A decent armor percent, some decent armor and 10% weapon damage. I rolled the 10% weapon damage onto this. Then we got on the ropes. Weapon damage is increased by 10% while all skills are on cooldown, and this will happen quite a lot when you're running around in PvP because you're constantly using your skills at the beginning of the engagement. And then hardened for that extra 15% extra armor. Utility slot again, use what you need to do to get your skills up high. And then defensive slot armor percent and some health if you can. BTSU gloves, everyone should be able to have got a pair of these by now. If you've not, run some Black Tusk missions until you're lucky enough to drop a pair. I'm not going to go over these because it's pretty common what they do now. But essentially we throw a hive out and then when they proc and we get the red glow on your gloves, it means your Seeker Mine's going to do way more damage. But then obviously just use the 2 util slots, which is really nice to get your skill power up for your skills. And then the defensive slot, yet again, more armor and more health. Now we're going to run to the knee pads. This is where I'm going to change my build. Patience just doesn't seem to be working for me very well. What I will do is change this to hazard protection, just to give myself a little bit extra survivability against all the bleed builds and things like that running around. Just get as high an armor roll as you possibly can, and then throw more armor and more health in both the mod slots. Moving on to the skills, we're going to use the big boy Seeker Mine. And then we are going to use the hive, the Stinger hive. I'll show you the mods that I'm running in these. So basically the Seeker Mine is just modded for all out damage, as high 90s as you possibly can get in all 3. And then in the Stinger we're running damage, charges and more damage. Again, this one could be improved and that one maybe a little bit improved as well. This one's pretty damn good. And that's all the build. That's what it gives us pretty much. It is really good. I'm going to throw some gameplay in at the end of this video so you can check that out as well. What I didn't talk about is I didn't talk about that on here. I'm running Perfect Spotter. It's 20% weapon damage to pulsed enemies, and obviously the attachment on our LMG pulses the enemy and gives us that 20% extra weapon damage. Looking at the gun, just to do the damage, we're running a cool 25.8k damage, which is pretty high for an LMG. I'm sure you can agree. And then if we flick over to the stats, I can show you these very quickly. There's the 25.7k. PvP actually comes out at 14.1. We're not bothered about crit damage or crit chance. We've got some headshot damage in there, always aim for the head. Reload speed's pretty average, nothing special there, but like I said, we're not going to be actually reloading, we're just going to be rolling about to get the reload back in. that way from the secondary gun that we're running. 32% all weapon damage bonus, 23% LMG bonus. No damage to elites because we're not bothered about that. No damage to armor, no damage to healths. Got a little bit of explosive damage from one of the yellow mods, but again, nothing to worry about. If I was going to improve this build, you could potentially look at running an Alp Summit chest piece. Obviously, if this was armor, I could have rolled 30% onto this as well if this was Bloodsucker, but you would obviously get 20% skill haste for using the one piece. So that's maybe something to think about. Something like this. Obviously, this has got health on. It would need to be armor to benefit. I could have rolled armor percent here, but yeah, maybe that is an improvement right there. Let me know what you think, guys. I've got another build coming very, very soon that, to be honest, I think might actually beat this one, especially if you're not running in a group. But if you want to run an LMG, you're fed up of running SMGs or ARs, this is definitely something to look at. You'll see from the gameplay that it's pretty damn strong and does a really good job. And it's nice, to be honest, to run an LMG, but then still have some skill damage as well, with it being a bit of a hybrid. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys. You can check me out most days streaming over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. We're either doing hardcore, prepping up, getting ready for the hardcore raid, or we are running raids to help people get Eagle Bearers, anything they need help-wise, come and see us. The Discord's down below as well, feel free to jump into that. If this was a good video, guys, and you enjoyed it and you think it's a good build, please give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, let me know what you thought, or consider subscribing to the channel. Every single bit of this helps, guys. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.